always want to respect everybody's time, so I'm going to just jump right into it. And thanks so much for joining. Know everybody's busy, and I want to give you a little bit of background, and then we're going to jump into your sales and marketing toolbox. So I am the co-founder and president of Giant Jacks Media, which is a firm that helps other solopreneurs, business coaches, tax professionals, businesses to grow and stand out, be different, and to nurture their business. And so I am successfully running multiple businesses, and I love sharing how I'm growing and the tools and strategies that I embrace and grind every day to grow my businesses. And so, over the years, as I've fine tuned my repeatable and identifiable processes, I have put it into my sales and marketing toolbox. And so, this is what I'm going to show you here today. And what we're talking about is I'm going to show you what I use, why I use it, best practices, and it's going to be great. So I know you'll pull some nuggets from this. Also, I want to mention on the screen there, if you want to get a copy of this recording, then text Giant Help to that phone number on the screen, and you'll get access to this recording where I break it down, and you can have it and keep it forever and refer back to it. Also, if you ever have any questions on anything I'm talking about in my live shows, don't hesitate to message me on LinkedIn, and happy to get into a discovery call with you, learn about your business, answer the questions, and talk about what's been going on with you, what's working, what's not working. Just I'm all over it, love it. And so with that, let's move along here. Okay. All right. 3 building blocks that everybody's got to have when you're trying to engage, grow, and move forward. And I want to say that there's just a phenomenal opportunity that all of us have today to grow and stand out and be different and make a lot of noise and convert and all those great things. A problem I see today is that a lot of people look the same, whether it's on the LinkedIn platform or other areas, their emails that they're sending out, their branding is everyone just falls into the same category. No one is being the squeaky wheel that gets the grease, as my mom used to tell me as a kid. And so what I'm about in growing businesses is really to differentiate myself from the competition, develop a personal brand, and put the pieces in place to be different, get eyeballs on my stuff. So my 3 building blocks start with number 1 is foundation there. And what I say to people is that you've got to have the foundational components in place before you start executing on your sales and marketing plan. Because if you don't have the foundational components, then your build, the execution of it will be sloppy. It'll be put together with bubblegum and toothpicks. I see people try things, stop things, try things, stop things. There's no consistency, and they spend too much money on things they probably don't need to spend any money at all on. And so they just end up running into barriers left, right, and center on the execution. So the foundational components are a must. And I say, before you start building, take a step back, take a breath, and make sure this foundation is set up. And I'm going to show you what that foundation is that I use. And these are the components that will make a smooth execution. So the execution is, once you have your foundation in place, then what do you do? Now, this is reaching out and taking you and your business out to the world. This is making noise. This is your messaging, lead generation campaigns, the content you're sharing, all those things, the platforms you're on. That's the execution of it. And the foundation and the execution go hand in hand, can't have one without the other, and they need to be interconnected to make it all smooth. Now, the third is support. And I use the analogy of the Tony Robbins effect. And what I mean by that is we all love Tony Robbins. He's got great stuff, but people pay money, go to his events, they walk on hot coals, they buy his books, and Tony says, okay, do these 10 things when you get back to the office and you will be successful. People go back to the office, they do the 10 things for maybe 2 days and they never do them again because there's not the ongoing support and people aren't leaning on a resource to help them once they get back to the office. You can't be left on an island when it comes to sales and marketing. Sales and marketing is friggin' hard. Otherwise, we'd all be good at it. And you've got to have a place, a resource to lean on. And so when I'm working with people, we're real big on support and helping people out. And as I'm building, and as I started out building years ago, I always had support systems in place, mentors to lean on. So these are the three components that are critical as you start to build your business. Okay, your contemporary sales and marketing toolbox. So this is an eyeful right here. And, you know, I'm going to be talking from a fire hose a little bit here, but I'm just going to do an overview. I can't, drill down on every single subset component of all these pieces, but I'm going to give you an overview. It's going to be, enough for you to chew on to really get the idea of how this all works. And again, if questions, reach out to me. Personal brand. So got to have this as part of your toolbox. And of course, we've all heard about this personal brand, personal brand. I always ask people when they say, well, what is your definition of personal brand? I know what mine is. And so for me, what's worked really well when I've started building companies, and one of the main big companies I'm building out is a law firm in Southern California, asset protection, estate planning, business planning firm. Took over the build 6 years ago, and the challenges were didn't have a big team behind me, weren't going to spend a ton of money on things that didn't work. Busy guy. I've got 4 kids and busy personal life, doing a lot for this firm. And so I knew we needed to stand out and differentiate ourselves. So the personal branding of me, the colleagues around me, the attorneys, the tax professionals was critical to standing out. And so on the personal brand side, 2 big areas to think about. One is clients and prospects are checking you out today as they're making decisions to do everything with you, to get on a phone call with you, certainly to buy your product or service. And it's become very, very easy for people to look at you, right? Obviously, the internet, LinkedIn, we're all on LinkedIn, and people are looking at you. And one of the first things I do when I'm getting on a call with somebody new in our attorney is we all go to LinkedIn, look at somebody, make value judgments about them in order to prep for the calls and the sessions. People are doing the same thing for you. And so you want to control your story, which is your brand. And I'm going to get into what that's all about here in a minute. So personal brand is huge. And also LinkedIn is measuring your personal brand. And I'm going to talk about that and why it's so important on LinkedIn. Podcasting, I'm going to go into that too. I look at it very differently than most. So I'll show you how I look at podcasting. Content sharing is critical. You got to have in your toolbox the right type of content, sharing it the right way. I'm going to go into that. Your vlog, need a weekly, twice a month email that's going out, which is your vlog incorporating video. I'm going to show you that and why that's important, how I do it. Email list build. So do you have a process to gather emails? How you doing that? Where are you keeping those emails? And very important. And I'll show you why email is gold. Video strategy, no longer a choice, mandatory. I'm going to show you that and break it down a bit. Lead generation campaigns, we all have to do those, otherwise you die. So let's talk about those. And then branded virtual events and talking about what is that and how does it work. Okay, personal brand. So as I mentioned a little bit, in that last slide, personal brand is your story, and it is, developing, your story that you're going to take out when you're talking to prospects. And your story is, how you got started, what are the experiences you've had in your career that have really made you what you are, and have made you an expert in what you do. So it's your backstory. It's also the value that you're bringing to the people that you're working with. So you got to tell your story, and then you've got to work on your value proposition, what you do, who you do it for, and why you're better than the others, and what are the solutions that you're bringing to the people you're talking to. It's your colors, your fonts, your style, and it is the consistency of that across the different channels that you're involved with. For me, I've got obviously this LinkedIn live show, and I've branded it Giant TV. Giant Jacks Media is the company, and I have colors that are consistent with other areas that I use. And we have, if you have email campaigns and you're shooting videos, the brand is consistent across all those channels. So that is your personal brand. And as I mentioned, with your brand, is prospects and clients are looking at you, making value judgments. I don't want people making judgments about me that are inaccurate. I want it to be crystal clear what I do and how I help people, and that will lead to better conversions in everything I do. LinkedIn is watching you. So I want to dive into this a bit because this is important. Obviously, we're on LinkedIn, all of us, and LinkedIn is scoring you. They're giving you a score from 1 to 100. It's called your social selling index. 1, you suck. 100, you're great. We all have that score. You can find it on Sales Navigator if you've got that. Once you have that, it's there. And what LinkedIn did is they went out and they measured what the top marketing people were doing on the platform. This was some years ago. They did a study and they said, what are you doing to be successful on the platform? And they took that study and they put it into the social selling index, 4 quadrants. And it has to do with the type of content you're sharing. Are you sharing video? Are you engaging with prospects? Are you connecting with the right people? Have you optimized your profile using all the tools and bells and whistles LinkedIn gives you? They look at that. And if you're not doing those things, you got a low score, you are irrelevant on the platform. The algorithm is not sharing your content to a lot of people. You're pushed down at the bottom of the heap. It's ridiculous. Why even be on LinkedIn if you're not doing the things LinkedIn wants you to do and you have a low score? And that social selling index measures you against other people in your industry. It's really, really an important score. Not that that score in and of itself raises you, but it's the activities that are involved in getting that score that make you relevant on the platform. So personal brand, very, very important. Okay, let's talk about lead generation campaigns. I look at these a little bit different than a lot of people. So all of us who have a business, a practice, we need to do lead generation or we stagnate. I mean, it just is the way it is. And or worse, you die if you're not constantly in motion with lead generation at some level. Got to do it. And the way I look at it is I've never been a guy to cram, products or services down people's throats. I've always considered myself a gentleman sales guy and very persistent. I won't go away until you tell me to go away, and then I'll go away and I'll be polite about it. But lead gen has got to be consistent. And I look at it as a way of building a community of prospects, spheres of influence, people you want to be connected to on platforms like LinkedIn, specifically LinkedIn, because we're all professionals and we're talking about LinkedIn here. But building up a large community, and the bigger community you have that you've been strategic about in connecting and in getting followers, the more noise you're going to make, the more eyeballs you're going to get on your stuff, and you just helps you in so many different ways to have that bigger audience. And so lead generation involves automation. You have to embrace automation today. Automation's gotten a bad rap, and trust me, all of the top marketing people everywhere are using automation, and a lot of us don't even know it. And automation isn't about robots taking away the human element. It is about taking those laborious tasks that need to be done off your plate, automating them so that you can focus on the more important things of your daily, weekly routine. Excuse me. And so, automation, understand where it can work. And there's so many places you can use it, not only in lead generation campaigns, but in other areas like gathering emails and getting them into your nurtured list and all of that. But certainly look at automation when it comes to lead generation. And you can scale when you're reaching out to people, especially if you don't have a team behind you pushing buttons, pulling levers, helping you do all these things, then you got to scale it. And there are some great strategies and tools for scaling in a lot of different areas on LinkedIn, off of LinkedIn, email, other places, scaling. So, got to think in terms of scale rather than bink, 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 just one at a time, poking around. Uh, uh, you don't need to do that. There's ways to scale and automate. And then you've got to be tactical when it comes to lead generation. So when we break down lead generation, there's the robust, scaled, big campaigns, and then there's the tactical outreach where I've always developed my top 100 list, top 50 list of the A-listers. I get that list. I always have it ready, and I just want to see it on a list where I can chew on it, taste it, touch it right there, feel it, because then I can be tactical about outreach to that specific list and using strategies like video email to reach out to get people on a phone call and to engage with them and to connect with them in strategic ways on LinkedIn and using Sales Navigator to reach out. So the tactical research outreach is really, really important. And it is married with the automated scaled outreach. Lead generation campaigns, of course, most of us know this, are, boiling it down to the basics, are searching for your ideal prospect and curating that search list. And it's funny when I think about it. I've been in sales and marketing my entire career, and back before the internet, if you can believe I'm that old, that you know the searching and curating of lists when I was building out Wall Street teams, for major Wall Street firms, it was list brokers used to come into the office with index cards, the Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross leads, and they have a stack of index cards and say they float around the office at these firms I was at, and they'd sell you that list of leads, and it was like phone numbers, names and phone numbers, and they said, "Hey, this is an exclusive list. This is not going out to anybody else." Meanwhile, they're offering that to 10,000 other people down the street. But list brokers, you buy that list, and it's wrapped up in a nice rubber bands. Here you go. And we used to buy those all the time. Just go to the library and curate a list back in the day, and just different ways. But a lead generation campaign is only as good as your initial list. First step, who's your prospect? Curate that. And so if you have a crappy list, who cares how good your engagement's going to be down the road or your conversions to calls? You got to get that list going. And so this is where you get on Sales Navigator and other ways. But Sales Navigator is a great tool to niche down to your prospects and identify them. That tool's got about 34 filter points, and through the use of keywords and other behind the scenes sort of propeller head tactics to find your prospects on there, you can get a pretty good list there. And then you engage with those people. And the engagement part of lead generation is important, because you got the outbound going on, and there's just a massive opportunity to engage in meaningful ways on LinkedIn and through Sales Navigator. Very few people build it into their daily routine. They kind of just stand in a corner, maybe put out some content and wait for people to respond. They don't engage, they're not proactive. Does that work in real life? No. And it doesn't work on LinkedIn. So engaging, being proactive is really important. And your lead generation, call to action typically is you're going to Zoom it, right? Get on a phone call and you want to talk to somebody and move them along. So those are the basics. A lot beneath that. Video strategy. So this is epic because video is no longer a choice to embed it in your practice and your build. It's mandatory because your prospects, your clients are demanding video. They want to watch a video to learn about you, hear your story, learn about your product or service. They just do. All the stats bear it out. There is no argument anymore about that. It just is the way it is. I mean, YouTube is the second largest website on the planet next to Google, second most visited website, and gaining. We get it. TikTok is out there and exploded. Videos exploding everywhere. Certainly on LinkedIn, they've embraced video, and the platforms are all competing for video content. and and I'm not just talking about video. Sharing video content, and it's embedding video in your interactions with clients and prospects. Like I mentioned earlier, video, email, and so forth. So video is huge, and it differentiates you from the others. Still today, vast majority of people have not incorporated a video strategy into their practice. And there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. There's a lot of details about how to do the video. And so I go into it here. Well, before I get to that, so you really got to understand what video is. And for us, it's, when we're partnered with people, everyone's shooting videos, we're editing the videos, repurposing videos, which I'll show you here, and getting those out in many different ways. But it's video, video, video. And I remember when I was building out that law firm, again, still building it out. This was 7 years ago, and I got with a guy who said, you need to be shooting video. And I started shooting video when nobody was doing it 7 years ago. And it was just a game changer for us. And it has been for the media company and the other companies I'm building out. It just has made all the difference in the world. And there's so many uses of video today. And for instance, when you're connecting with somebody on LinkedIn and they're a first level connection, you can send them a video from your mobile phone. And it's an awesome feature. I will never type a message to a new connection ever again on LinkedIn. I go to my mobile and just crank out a video. They give you 2 minutes to send a video on mobile to a first level connection. And man, what that can do for you. It's people can, hear your voice, see that you have a decent haircut, you dress well, and it just triggers emotions, positive emotions. And I go into a very specific agenda on how to send that video message when somebody connects with you. There's a tight agenda on what to do and how to send it within about a minute, and converting to getting somebody on a phone call with that strategy. It's awesome. So video, video, video all the time. You got to figure this out. These are the stats I'm talking about, and these stats come from, I believe it was a piece that HubSpot did. They do it every year, an annual look at video. It's awesome. And 60% of executives would rather watch a video versus reading a text. So these are real stats and tell a real story. And obviously we know, maybe not so obvious, but viewers retain more when they're watching a video versus text. It just is true. You see a video and hear and see the colors and what's going on. It just stands out in your mind. I mean, think about those TV commercials. Where's the beef? What was that? Wendy's years ago. I mean, all those things I still remember. Uh, you know, um, so many I could cite those commercials uh, that are just these videos that stick in your mind, and I think we all have that experience. And then, as I mentioned earlier, customers want to learn about your product or service using video. So, video, video, video. Okay, podcasting. Let's jump into this one. I'm just going to blaze through these channels. So podcasting has exploded, and as you know, and audio's great. People love listening along with the video, and even now, Clubhouse is a new app that just is going postal right now, and it's an audio app, getting some very interesting attention. But I looked at podcasting differently when I started doing this. I looked at it as a way to separate myself from the competition, to have a podcast show where I could now brand that, market that, and have it show up on iTunes and Spotify, and just having it and being able to include that in my branding and marketing. Great. Awesome. But then, instead of trying to become Joe Rogan, and spend hours and hours and doing that, wasn't the strategy. It was and is to be able to create a show, and this is tied in with my virtual event, which I'm going to talk about, but create a show and take that show and invite top prospects, spheres of influence to be on my show as a guest. And people don't say no, especially if I'm featuring them and talking about their business. And it's just a great platform. People love to come on. And so it gets you engaged with prospects and spheres of influence. And it's what we really all want to be doing every month, is having discussions and engaging with prospects. And so this tool is great. It's not about a time-sucking endeavor where you're podcasting all day long and spending hours and trying to monetize this thing. That's not it. And it is essentially, the way we run it is, when you're shooting a video, what you're going to repurpose the audio from that video on just content you're sharing gets populated into your podcast show. So you have content going out, which is you pulled from your videos, but you're also reaching out here, like this shows you, to your prospect, and you're zooming it and you're recording that, and it's all very tight. And even if you do that once a month and you're talking to people, phenomenal strategy. So got to figure out the podcast thing, and how to get that going. And that's a great tool. Content. This is huge because your content reflects who you are. It tells your story. And what I see a lot of people do, the problem here, is that people are sharing other people's content. Here's Warren Buffett's top 10 list. Here's Richard Branson's, do these things, you're going to be awesome. Here's Inc. magazine. Not that these pieces of content are bad. They could be awesome, but I tell people, you rock. You need to be the one that is the authority figure. I don't care what Warren Buffett is saying. If I want to do business with you, I want to understand, what are you saying? What is the value you're providing? What's your story? What are you recommending? What's your top 10 list? And think of it in terms of that way. All of us have experiences in our career that we can tap into, where we've learned, we've been challenged, we've overcome these challenges, and we can talk about that. And we can let people know how we're helping them to solve their challenges. And so focus on you being the authority, and focus on your audience. So it's you, but it's not selling you constantly. It is you solving things for your audience, which makes you the authority, the thought leader, if you will, in your niche. And 99.9% of the stuff I see on LinkedIn is, check this out, look at this article, look at this. Nobody's reading it. You go look at your news feed and look at what people are sharing. Two people see it, not the way to do it. And build yourself up. Okay, video repurpose. This is how to do video. Is um, when you shoot a video, you're shooting a video on high level content. You know, content that your audience wants to see, that they care about. So if you're working with business owners or C-suite executives, what are they focused on? Someone running a business today, closely held business, what are they focused on? It's not hard to find out. There's a lot of trending topics out there to discover really what these business owners are latched onto. And I have sources that I teach people about of where to find the trending topics. Never lack of content. It's all over the place. And you may have the content in your head. Some people, it's like they just say, God, okay, I know exactly because I'm dealing with these people. I know what the issues are, and I'm going to make those into videos. And so you're shooting a video, short snack size video with you don't need a lot of equipment, cell phone, good microphone. Make sure your lighting doesn't stink. And you can be anywhere in your office, outdoor. It doesn't matter as long as it looks good and you brand it and you do all that. So you shoot the video. Video is edited for your brand, and there's obviously pieces to all this of how you shoot it, the agenda of your video, what you say, how you say it, the length of it, et cetera, et cetera. But you get that down, and that video then is repurposed into all these pieces of content. You pull out the audio from the video and it goes into your podcast. And there's efficient ways to do this. It's boom, boom, done. It becomes your blog or your vlog. This is the email that you send out to nurture your clients and prospects. So your video goes out, nice looking email. It's shared to your channels, of course. It's uploaded manually to LinkedIn, so it auto plays and just configured right on LinkedIn with the summary and the comments and any links you put in there. All that's done right. And then maybe you have other channels. Maybe you have a Facebook company page. Maybe you have a LinkedIn group. LinkedIn groups are coming into favor. Interesting things you can do there. So you're sharing it to all those channels. It becomes a text post. Efficient ways to make it into a text post, because a text post resonates on LinkedIn. They get a lot of eyeballs on them. So make it a text post. And when we're working with folks, we say, okay, shoot your video, and what you're going to do with the video is write a subject line, write a summary, and write a quote. Pull a quote from it. So they're doing that. And the summary is a summary used for the text post and the summary for the upload of the video. So write a little summary about it. It goes into the library, of course, which is YouTube. That's your video library. And summaries in there, subject lines in there. And that's really important, because you build up a library of videos. You can use these things in perpetuity over and over. I can't tell you how many times I've been on a phone call talking about a concept, a strategy. I know I have a video on that in the libraries. We're talking about it. Somebody says, yeah, it sounds interesting. I said, hey, when I get off the phone, I'm going to send you a video I have on this very subject. And I send it to them. You know what that does? It is awesome. It just continues to position me as an expert. They see it, they watch it. And so the video library, epic. Got to have that. You can use it in so many ways. Image quote. It's your video's repurposed into an image quote. Like I said, you pull an image out of it, and that is uploaded to your channels. And you have a branded image that the quote, is within that context. So this is how you can repurpose a video. So imagine if you shoot 2 videos a month and you repurpose it, you get all this content, and those are short snack size videos. You block off an hour once a month, shoot a couple videos, and it becomes this content. And then you can reshare the same piece of content, because as you share a piece of content on LinkedIn, maybe 10% of your connections actually see it. just the way it is. So you can share it over and over. You should share it over and over. You took the time to make a great piece of content. Why throw it up there once and never again? And so, this is how it can work. And you can have content and you can start standing out, showing up right now doing this. Email list building. Okay, you got to treat email like a piece of gold. Um, so this is mandatory. Email is still the number one way to reach a mass audience and to nurture proactively, as opposed to posting stuff hoping people see it. Email is phenomenal. So you got to understand how to gather emails. Where do you collect them? And there, again, automation can be used for collecting emails, getting them into your nurture campaign. And landing pages are great. And landing pages are mandatory for building out your practice. These are different from your website. Website's great. Landing page, more condensed, tighter call to action. Website, someone's amongst the forest of trees. Landing page, they're on the forest floor walking around. And so landing pages are incredible, like an offer landing page, podcast landing page where people apply to be in your podcast. And as people are filling these out, going to these landing pages, you're collecting emails and names. Calendar bookings, often overlooked. I love Calendly. And when you book with me, I have automation that grabs your email, puts it onto my email nurture campaign, also puts it into a video drip series we have on providing high value videos. And so you can collect emails from calendar bookings. You can do a lot of other things with calendar bookings. Is with Calendly, it'll redirect them to a landing page where you may want to show them something specific after they book, because they booked for a specific purpose. There's a lot going on with calendar links there. That's awesome. Events. So of course, Zoom events, always require registration so you can collect the email. And when you're doing LinkedIn events, embed a link in the LinkedIn event. So when people, instead of just accepting the LinkedIn event, you have a registration link, they go to a killer landing page. And if you're not building a landing page, you don't have the apps to do that, or you're not working with somebody like me that's doing it for you, have an Eventbrite. It's free. It's better than just directing people straight to the Zoom sign up link, because that's just a nothing looking landing page. So, and Zoom integrates with Eventbrite. You sign up through Eventbrite, automatically signed up through Zoom. You get the Zoom link. So things like that. So events are a great way to collect emails going into your nurture campaign. All right, vlog. This is your weekly, twice a month email vlog. And I love Constant Contact. This is where you're collecting emails, getting them into Constant Contact. I've seen people use MailChimp, another good one, but you get it in there, and then you're sending out a consistent, branded, regular vlog. It includes your video. Remember, we repurpose here, and you're doing this at least 2 times a month. And what it does is you're nurturing your prospects and clients. Because remember this, if you haven't heard this before, 90% plus of the leads that come in initially to your funnel, you made them aware of you. They come into your funnel, you have a phone call with them, 90% plus are going to be long-term leads. You're not going to convert them in the short term. The best sales and marketing people on the planet don't convert their people in the first, few days or weeks. Long-term leads, it's just the way it is. And so you need to have a process to nurture those long-term leads, because you can't talk to somebody in January and they say, hey, call me back in June, and you don't do anything, and you call them back in June. They're not going to remember the conversation. Maybe they don't even remember you. And so you got to nurture them. Email is a great way to do that. Drip, high value. You're not selling them. Remember, video, value, videos embedded in the email, nurture. It's a great way to do it. Virtual events, love these. This is kind of tied in with the podcast, but this is virtual events is you creating your show. And think of a TV show. What do? They create a theme around it. They make it consistent, same day every week or same, month. Uh, and there is a style about it. There's messaging that they want to get out to you, and they have a targeted audience they're trying to reach. And so you got to create your show. And my show's Giant TV, one of my shows, and I brand around Giant TV, and I do things like this, and and emails and nurturing and videos and a lot of things. My show is Giant TV, and I'm consistent with it. I do it every week, Thursday, 1 p.m. California time, here at LinkedIn Live, and restream this to Facebook and to YouTube. And so you know I'm focused on delivering value. I really want to tell people and teach people how they can grow their business. And I know if I provide value, it will come back to me in spades. So this is your virtual event. And man, you can do some really great things with your event. And it's fun. And you get into it, and it doesn't require a ton of upfront work. Once you get it in place, uh, then it's being consistent with it and just knowing how to leverage your event and make it work for you. And so everyone we work with, and I tell people, if I'm working with them or not, get your event going. And you can do a Zoom event, and you can link that up with LinkedIn events, and you can stream your Zoom events to different platforms. So virtual events are huge. And again, they position you as an authority. People see this, you start to build up your audience, and people come to expect it and get dialed into you and your story and the value you provide. These are the support tools in the box. Not going to go through all of these, but these are the things that you need. And recognize most of these from your LinkedIn profile, landing pages, YouTube. You need an email platform, constant contact, online calendar links. Got to have that. Got to make it easy for people to book with you and use that tool uh, strategically. Landing pages, podcast hosting site. We use Podbean, as in Jack and the Beanstalk, Podbean. Just like your website needs to be hosted somewhere, your podcast does. Love that site. Zoom, we have that. Uh, Email, video. I mentioned BombBomb is what I use. Awesome email video service. Bomb, like a cherry bomb, bomb, and uh, great song by John Cougar, by the way. So BombBomb for email video. Sales Navigator, gotta have it. Sales Navigator, maybe most of you know. If you don't, separate interface from LinkedIn. It's premium service. I think it's $79 a month, around there. God, it's a great tool. And if you're growing, engaging, and you really want to leverage LinkedIn and network and have conversations, gotta have Sales Navigator. I mentioned automation. And it's the one other thing. Oh yeah, the campaign tracking here. This is critical because when you start doing lead generation, where I see a lot of people fall off is they don't track the follow-up, right? You spend all this time, energy, figuring out, getting your list, reaching out, your messaging, value proposition. Now you're going out and you're getting activity. People are coming in. And where people fall off is they're not organized. They don't track the follow up. They're not measuring the metrics. And it's like, okay, you're killing the whole lead generation campaign if you're not on top of things and responding in a timely manner and understand where things are working, where they're not. Then it's just you're missing it. You're missing the whole back end. So we have a proprietary dashboard as an example. We pull all of the activity off of LinkedIn and Sales Navigator in our build campaigns, bring it onto a tracking dashboard. It's awesome, and it keeps it organized. So however you're going to do it, you got to track the back end. And what I'll say here too is that when you have the foundation set up, then you execute and you have these support tools in the box. Again, I this is a fire hose here of talking about all this stuff. This toolbox works for any business. And when it's set up, it's not a Herculean all day task to run it. The labor is getting it set up right, but when it's connected and you know how all the pieces are integrated, then it's running. And it's the engine, the toolbox is the engine that drives the growth and consistency of your business. And, you know, uh, we realize, and I know you realize, that the juggling act for all of us that are not huge businesses with big teams behind us, the juggling act is, hey, I actually got to do the work. I got to coach my executive clients. I got to do the tax work. Whatever it is you're doing, you got to do the work. And so you can't spend all day doing the selling and marketing and this stuff. Totally get that. And that's why I built this toolbox, because like I said, I'm doing the work too, and I can't be spending all day long running these things. And that's why there's identifiable and repeatable processes. Now, doesn't mean you don't do anything. A lot of this only works when you're efficient and you're time blocking and you've got your day bifurcated so that you're just running like a machine. And I spend about an hour every morning doing the things I need to do. It's my daily checklist. I get up and I've got an hour where I just know I got to do these things. When it comes to, getting the video out in my system, my toolbox, it's an hour. So I, have an hour first thing in the morning. I do it, and then I go, and things are running. And I've just got it down, efficiently. I've got team members behind me, but this is what we're running for. And again, whether you have someone like me running it, you're doing it on your own, happy to help in any way that I can, questions and get you going. So message me any questions. I'm hitting my time limit here. I want to run these 45 minutes. I hope you grab something here from this. I'm just going to go over one last time here. Uh, uh, yeah, so comments are, don't know what to do for video. Yeah, so video is, people have a lot of questions about video. And so message me about video. Happy to just go into that particular scenario with you. And listen, thank you again for being here. Appreciate it. And I look forward to staying connected. And keep in tune for my next session next week. And I'm putting that together now, and look forward to having you there. Thanks so much.